Hello and welcome to episode 14 of Let's Play Planet Coaster here on Theme Park Worldwide. After reading all the comments on last week's episode, it's great to see that you all enjoy me building the entrance and hotel area. I think it looks great, and yes, it is inspired by Disneyland Paris. I know quite a few of you noticed that in the comments, and I said that when I was building it. You know, I absolutely love that entrance. I think it's beautiful. A lot of people thought it's got a bit of a gothic feel to it as well. They enjoyed the nighttime shots of it. They think it looks great at night, so it's good to see that you guys enjoyed the entrance, and I think it's a really good building. I mean, when you go back to the first building that I did in this game, which was the Wild West Saloon just down here, you look at that and it's nice for the area, it works well, but you think of all the details after building all these different buildings throughout the game. Like, look at it, it's gradually been improved as I've gone through the areas, and of course the latest being the Dark Ride. Talking of the Dark Ride, actually, we're going to name that in this episode. You've come up with some really good names for that, so towards the end I'm going to reveal the name for that, the final ride in the pirate area. But first, let's kick straight in normal time. We're going to start with no speeding up just yet. I'm going to put in a couple of rides down here. So yes, this might look a little bit like Disneyland Hotel in Paris, but this is going to be nothing like Main Street USA. It's going to be very different. I did mention it last week. Of course, you're going to have your main hub here, which would have a nighttime show on. There's going to be some sort of feature in the middle as well. That's yet to be decided on. Then we've got these two L shapes just here at the side, where I'm going to put all different buildings, shops, restaurants, all that kind of stuff, which means here I want to have some very open gardens. I don't want to put in buildings at either side and enclose it. I want it to be very open. So I'm actually going to put in a couple of smaller rides at each side. I'm thinking a carousel somewhere here and like a swinging chairs ride somewhere there. So yeah, I'm going to put them in now, why not? So if we go down to rides at the bottom, it's been a while since I built a ride, of course we'll be spending so many hours doing the hotel. Go down the bottom, Venetian Carousel, that looks good. I mean, it's not massive this, but it is a double-decker carousel, which is quite nice. So you can sit upstairs if you wanted to. I like the little balloon on there as well. Really want to think about placement here. Normally I don't like putting rides close to entrances of parks because they get massive queues, but I'm going to go with it. At the end of the day, they're only a couple of small flat rides, so I think they'll work fine. Pop that in there. In terms of new rides coming to Planet Coaster, we've got an Easter update coming soon. There's going to be a Ferris wheel, there's lots of other stuff going in there, 3 new coasters, a few new flats, and also in terms of operations there's going to be a security guard as well, which I think is nice how the guys at Frontier have thought about that. I love how on their YouTube channel they're doing these live streams and everything. I think it's so good how they're really interacting with the fans. It really is fantastic and it's great to see. Before I put the queue line in, I'm going to put my other flat ride in just here as well. But yeah, the Easter update looks great, and of course that's going to be coming out in the next few weeks, next couple of weeks here, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. We've got a T-Cruz. I mean, I could have put that in there, but I just think it's a bit too big for the space, if you know what I mean. With us having a tiny carousel on that side, with this being a big fantasy area eventually at the back, I'm going to actually save that for there. We're getting close now to this park opening. I say we're not getting far away, we are getting close, because obviously this here is the main entrance itself. Once that's complete, I'm happy to open this whole side of the park, and I'm also going to upload it to the Steam Workshop as well. So this is still a bit larger than I would have wanted. I would like 2 rides the same sort of size, but I think that's the best I can do, to be honest, with this bit. So we'll put it in about there. Like I say, we can change the colour scheme on these. I think they look quite nice though. When there's buildings and gardens, it's going to be very much like what you see here with the gardens all around this area. Lots of planting, waterfalls, making it sort of natural beauty I want with this sort of area. So just click that to place the entrance in. And spin that round. I'm going to put the exit in the same sort of place I have on the other side as well. Pop that in just there. Yeah, so let's think about where the queue lines actually want to be. So we've got the main influx of guests. They're going to be coming out down here. If we send the queue lines around to here, yes, they're going to get busy, but as long as we make the queue lines look nice and landscaped, I think they'll be fine. So if we go on to paths down at the bottom, lots going on though with Planet Coaster at the moment. Like I say, it's really good to see that they're developing the game and adding more to it. I want to know when they're going to want more money off us, to be honest. Like, I'm sure they're going to do expansion packs and that sort of thing at some point. But at the moment, they don't seem to want any more cash offers, which is even better, really, isn't it? You can't complain. Let's look at what path style I used. Did I use that for... yeah. I want to use the same path style in all these areas. So. Of course, we've got the train, which will be in this area as well, which will help with capacity. Let's think about where we're going to send this. No sort of set path. Like I said, I don't want it to be cattle penned. I just want it to be sort of looped back round nicely, if you know what I mean, not right next to each other. All going to be about the landscaping around here. Yeah, let's loop that back round that way. And connect her up just there. Won't fancy queuing that long for a carousel, would you? Yeah, I think that fits quite nicely actually. We've got plenty of room to do some nice landscaping around there as well. Lots of rock work and all that kind of stuff. We'll put the exit in a moment. Let's do the same sort of thing on this side. If I send it in again. It doesn't have to be identical, it's just the same sort of idea really. Move that back around. Looks quite nice. I suppose we need a little bit more queue again for that one, so let's send it back round this way. And up. And we'll connect it on this bit just here. There we go. I'm happy with that. So that looks quite nice already. I just didn't want to put loads of buildings down there. I want to keep it quite open plan. That's what I'm looking forward to seeing at Shanghai Disneyland actually. That's quite open plan. Looking forward to seeing all that. Of course, the trip's only, a few months away now, and me and Alex are going over to Asia. It's going to be fantastic to share all those vlogs and updates. And of course, we're going to be doing travel vlogs this year as well. So, in fact, I was going to make that a straight line back to there, but I'm not. I'm going to make it a bit crazy. And send it just like that. Just to give it a bit of texture, if you know what I mean. There we go. That looks better. I want it to be quite a crazy, zany area, this really. Celebrating the best of British. There we go. That looks quite nice. Actually, I'm going to have it looping out that way. It's all about placement though, isn't it? I hope you guys have learned some good stuff like watching these videos. I mean, I've loved making it, but it is all about placement and seeing how things look to make sure they look right. There we go. I'm pleased with that. That looks great. Right, I'm going to speed you guys up. I'm going to start doing some landscaping. It's a bit of rock work, hashtag rock work. I know you all love it. And lots of planting. I want some waterfalls. I want all that kind of stuff going on around this area to make it look really magical. We'll also think about putting some more trees in on this side just to try and cover up some of this RMC a little bit more from when you walk in at the park's entrance. See you in a moment. So as you can see already with this area, it's really starting to look quite magical. I didn't want it to be too pink and fluffy all around here, but I just thought it'd be quite nice to have that sort of magical main entrance, what's actually quite calm as well. So you have this gardens all down the side. Instead of having loads of restaurants and shops all down both the sides of this street, I thought let's have it quite calm and have a carousel and a swings ride and sort of keep it quite a peaceful sort of gardens relaxation area. The main hub, if you like, of the park, which we built in the last episode, which is going to be all around the lake area, that's right in the middle, and that's where I'm going to have all your shops, restaurants. If Planet Coaster let us build the nighttime show, that's where it would go. I'd love to have some sort of mix master or something in the future. That'd be great. Talking about Planet Coaster, anyone who's been on Facebook over the past few days will notice that earlier last week we actually got mentioned on their official Facebook page for Planet Coaster and also on the Twitter as well. So thanks to the guys at Frontier for sort of putting that on there. We really appreciate it, and I'm sure we've got a lot of new people who've come over to watch this series because of that. So if you have, welcome to Theme Park Worldwide, and mainly our Planet Coaster series, where things are progressing massively, and we're so close to getting this park open now. In the next episode, you're going to see me do all that main hub area around the lake. Lots and lots of buildings to go around there, and a very different style of building to what I've built so far in the park. But yeah, throughout this episode, there's going to be a lot of flower beds going and all that kind of stuff, and generally finishing touches just to make this look nice. I mean, I talk about layers quite a lot. This is about making sure that it looks different than the rest of the park. The pirate area, the main focus was the rock work. In our Wild West area, the main focus was lots of wooden like structures and the brown style rocks and all that kind of stuff. With this area, the focus is mainly making it look quite magical, and that's a combination of flower beds, wacky kind of trees, and of course some rocks as well. I'm using the ice coloured rocks just to make them look a bit more magical, and you can see me just adding those in there around the footpath. In terms of main theming, there's not going to be loads of massive theming around here. As I say, I want it to be like a magical garden of enchantment style thing. Oh, that's a good name for it, isn't it? Actually, something along those lines, where it can just be a quite peaceful, relaxing area all around the hotel, and then you walk past it all, and then you get into the centre of the park where it all gets a little bit more lively. So yeah, it's coming on really well. In terms of the channel, then, it's been a really good week. We went to Fantasy Island in Skegness and went to see the whole new improvement project which has been taking place there over winter. The Pyramid, which is a massive indoor area. If any of you have been before, you'll know it was like a massive conservatory. It used to be really bright in there, and there was some really good theming, but of course you couldn't really see it that well because of it was that bright, and you didn't really know where to focus. Now it's dark in there, and they've lit up the things that they want you to see, and it looks fantastic. They've got a magical soundtrack in there. There's a brand new adventure golf course, 18-hole golf course, which has literally not replaced anything at all. All there was a little water feature in the middle, so they've not had to take out a ride to put it in. There's a massive new bowling alley in there, which has gone into the arcade. There's 6 new family rides. I mean, anyone will know that when me and Joe went a few years ago, we had an awful day, and then they've really turned things around for this year. So if you can do, get down there to Fantasy Island in Inglemells, just outside of Skegness, and go and check it out. It's absolutely fantastic. Ride availability still wasn't great on this visit because it was windy. We didn't get on Jubilee Odyssey, but more than enough to make up for it really with all the new improvements that have been done across the park. Make sure you check out our vlogs playlist here on the channel. Over 230 vlogs in there now. Wow, it's a lot, isn't it? And more vlogs than ever before to come this year on the channel, so make sure you do go and check it out, the vlogs playlist. We also went over to Chessington World of Adventures and went to ride the Gruffalo, and you know what? I was genuinely really impressed with the Gruffalo. Yes, it still doesn't replace what Bubbleworks had for me. I mean, that was a classic ride, and I grew up with it as a kid ever since my parents took there. But at the end of the day, times move on, and they've done a good job with it. There's lots of projection mapping in there, and the main thing what I wasn't expecting with the smell pods, like obviously Bubbleworks had some smell pods in there, like a soapy kind of smell, especially after the Imperial Leather took over. But yeah, I was really impressed with what they've done with it. There's some good theming in there, a few massive Gruffalos in there as well in terms of theming, and the fountains have remained too. So it's a win-win really. It's a good ride, and it's well worth going to see. My favourite part of it's definitely got to be what they've done to the station. Anyone who knows who's been there before, that Bubbleworks, the station was never really anything fantastic. The ceiling had like the polystyrene style boards in and stuff. It wasn't great. Now they've completely redone that. There's all leaves and vines across the ceiling, and with it being a lot darker throughout there now, When it was Bubbleworks, the scenes were quite bright. Now it's a lot darker. They've really thought about thematic lighting in there. But the one bug I've got with it, and that was the audio. The quality throughout was really bad, and obviously the Gruffalo is a storybook, isn't it? And they're trying to tell that story throughout the ride, and there's like little sensors at the side, and anyone who's been on the Bubbleworks will know that the boats get close to each other depending on how much weight there is in them, and spinning around and all that kind of stuff. So it meant that sometimes you didn't get certain effects because they wouldn't trigger because you were too close to a boat in front. So hopefully that's something what they sort out soon. But I suppose they want to tell the story as it goes round. Ideally, personally, I think it'd be better just with a nice magical soundtrack, maybe with the odd audio effect, but something what just keeps continuously looping instead of being activated by a sensor. I think that'll work a lot better, and some of the effects are like that in there, but there's a couple and lighting effects and stuff are obviously activated by sensors, so that's definitely something for the guys to look at. But in general, it's a really good experience. Make sure you check out the vlog from Chessington. It went online a couple of days ago on the channel. Of course, if you're watching this video way in the future, and then we're probably uploading another 50 vlogs by now, but make sure you do head over to the vlogs playlist. It's always there, so make sure you do check it out. It's for all the latest on the channel. It's really coming on now. Like I say, it's all about flower beds and rocks in this episode and just making this area look nice. Planting is a huge thing. Anyone can just stick some trees about, but you've really got to think about positioning, and that's exactly what I'm trying to do here, and make sure that everything's positioned really nicely. I want the rocks, as you can see here, to sort of overlap onto the path. It also helps in terms of having the fence coming out of it and that kind of thing. So yeah, it's just about making it look really nice. Also, before we open this park, you can see that I'm doing it in this area, but I must have forgot to put benches, lights and bins throughout all the areas. I mean, I know I did quite a lot of lights, but I need a lot more benches and a lot more bins. I was reading someone's comment actually on the last episode about that, so don't worry, I'll be going back in all the areas and making sure I put plenty of bins in there to make it look good. But in general, this is looking great. So I'm going to leave you for a few minutes now as I carry on just making these gardens look really, really nice. Also for the next episode, start thinking about names for this whole gardens area. Of course, names for the two rides here, but the actual what should this gardens sort of be called? Maybe like the Gardens of Imagination or something along those lines would be great. Also in a few minutes time, I'll reveal who was the winner, the name for the brand new dark ride that I built in this park as well a few episodes back. I have picked the name and I'll make sure I read that out soon in the episode. So of course in the last episode I built the whole hotel, however I didn't actually do the back of it. This was mainly because I wanted to put the things in behind it before I decided what I wanted to do. Now I've put them rides in and put the gardens in, I've sort of got an idea with how this wants to be, and it's pretty much going to be similar to what it is on the front. So you can see here I'm putting in the doors which will open up, and of course you've got the balcony there as well. They're all the premium rooms on the back that look over the park. It's an extra £50 per night to stay in those ones, apart from if you've been blocked by that tree in that one. But yeah, you can just see literally I'm adding windows in all the way along the back there. I don't put quite as many as there is on the front because I want it to be a bit more exclusive on the back. But again, it's all about adding layers, and you can see me here putting in some white posts just on the side just to give it a bit of extra texture. In terms of the hotel, I think there's a little bit more that I'm going to do to that over time, but that doesn't mean the park can't open, and I can do that later on. Here you can see me adding even more posts in, and then I actually go in a moment to add a clock just in the middle there as well. We've got a big clock on the other side. I put the same style clock on this side just so people can see what's going on. Of course, in the long term, you'd think there'd be like a parade and stuff on this main street and lots of different entertainment. And of course, it's the entrance to the park, so it needs to have a clock on there. A lot of parks don't actually have the time at the main entrance, and that really surprises me. I think it's a prime sort of opportunity to have a massive clock tower and even make a big spectacle out of it as something happens. So many parks don't do it. So I know the Disney parks do, either on the train station or Disneyland Paris on the hotel. But yeah, I just think it's really important. Of course, City Hall as well at the Disney parks, you know. So yeah, there's plenty of clocks out there at Disney, but is there at many other theme parks? I just think it's something what seems to get forgotten about. I mean, maybe they go with the Las Vegas approach. Of course, in Las Vegas, for anybody that didn't realise, they don't actually put clocks up in the casinos and hotels because they want you to be in there spending money and gambling all the time. And we found that when we went to Las Vegas back in 2015, me, Chris, Lee and John had the time of our lives. It was absolutely amazing. So make sure you check out the vlog from that trip if you've not seen it. And in terms of scary rides, I couldn't believe the Stratosphere. I was so excited to get on it, and we went on, but oh my god, I've never been so scared for a ride. I mean, them rides up there, Insanity and X-Scream, they were absolutely crazy. Insanity was definitely the scariest of the two. I mean, X-Scream I did have my hands up. Insanity I was a little bit more like but it was so good, and John was not best pleased that I dragged him on them rides. But we had a fantastic time, and make sure you do check out the vlog from that trip. Fantastic memories, and still one of the best trips we've ever done at Theme Park Worldwide. It was absolutely fantastic. This whole area is really starting to come together now, just the finishing touches going in. I know it's been a bit of a shorter episode, but I really just wanted to finish off everything around this hotel and the actual entrance itself before moving on to the hub in the next episode. And that will be the last thing I build before we get some guests in this park for the first time since I started on this series way back in November last year. So it is very exciting. I can't wait to see how the guests react to this park. Anyway, moving on. I'm going to reveal the name that you guys have come up with for the Pirate Dark ride that I did build a couple of episodes back. It looks fantastic, and so many of you come up with some really, really good names out there. But there's one that I absolutely love, and it was from YouTube user Random TV, and he thinks he's even got a little description. He thinks the ride should be called the Isles of Mystique. I love the name, and it's about an abandoned island that the pirates took over, but one day they got attacked by other pirates. They then made hideaway in the abandoned mine shaft beneath the island. The other pirates decided to burn down the island, so they tried to find a way out of it, but at the end of the mine they found the ultimate treasure, the statues and chests and all that stuff. I absolutely love his suggestion, what he came up with. So there you go, Random TV, and the name for the Pirate Dark ride is the Isles of Mystique. Really, really good name, so thank you very much for suggesting it. That pretty much sums up this episode of Let's Play Planet Coaster. Hope you've really enjoyed it. I know it's been a bit short, but as I said, in the next episode we're going to really work on that central hub. I mean, you look at that now around by the hotel, the two flat rides behind it look great. It's a bit more of a relaxing area for hotel guests, and it just generally works really well. Here's a nice shot to end on then, looking back down that street at the main entrance itself. Thank you for watching. I'm Shawn Sandbrook, this is Theme Park Worldwide, and I'll see you in the next episode of Let's Play Planet Coaster. See you later, guys. Thanks for watching.